Chaos is on its way, and we've been warned for a few years about this. So, guys, as a lot of you know, I did a live stream on this. The live stream was a lot longer. This is going to be a more condensed version of that live stream talking about a COVID like cyber attack. When I read that, I was like, man, what do they have in store for us in regards to that? Because I'm thinking to myself, a COVID like cyber attack means that this is going to be the mother of all cyber attacks. Now, in the simulation that the WEF ran, of course, they're involved, and Bill Gates is involved in this, and the Bill Gates, Melinda Association, whatever it is, they're involved in this. Of course, guys, they go over what can happen to the world and how this is going to affect every device linked to the internet, every device linked to the internet. So what happens is this is going to wind up crashing every single device known to mankind that's linked to the internet. So obviously you have like an analog phone, whoever has that, or a TV that's not plugged in the internet, you're good to go. But if not, this is going to cause pandemonium everywhere around the world. Now, the WEF is not saying that this is coming from one single, group or state or country. They're just throwing it out there to see how we can react to an attack like that. So they did a simulation a couple of years in a row, and then they did one last year, another one last year called the Polygon, the Cyber Polygon. Now, the Cyber Polygon's been going on for a couple of years. Last year was 2024, and they talked about that this year at Davos in 2025 in January. And they were talking about the only way to defeat a cyber attack like that is to, and guess, shut everybody's device down that's linked to the internet. That means, guys, that they have some kind of control, or they have people who have control over every device and shutting every device down for a day. If they shut all devices down for a day, that's going to create chaos. People are undoubtedly going to die, and you're even going to see, and I shit you not, a rash of people offing themselves. Because yes, there have been studies done where if the cell phones went out, and this is specifically for cell phones, what would happen to people, and people would undoubtedly commit ending their own life because they have no way of reaching other people, going on social media. It was a whole study, if I'm not mistaken, Japan did a few years back. Again, this is a couple years ago before technology got even worse and people are more dependent on it. So now the WEF is saying the only way to combat that is to shut off all electronic devices connected to the internet. Now, a lot of us wouldn't have a problem with it. In fact, they did a study stating that no phone for 3 days, so that's probably going in the woods, leaving your phone in the car, no phone for 3 days resets the brain. And there's an article on it, and I'm going to find an article and do a live stream on that on the Angryprepper fitness channel because I thought that was pretty cool. Again, it's a study. It hasn't been peer reviewed, so they don't really know if that can happen. But there's a lot of people who just go to the woods and their bodies reset all for that alone. So again, that's a very good sign. Again, not having your phone for 3 days, resetting the body, but everybody else is not going to react the same way. So of course, guys, if this happens, this is going to be one of the worst. This is going to be a worldwide blackout or worldwide EMP type of attack. Not sort of the same because they could turn it back on whenever they want, but it's still going to create a lot of chaos. Now, why did I bring up the simulation? Well, we all know that the WEF a few years ago, right before Mr. 19 event, did a simulation on COVID. And that was a year prior to it actually happening, and then the world got shut down. Davos was talking about, they were actually warning about this COVID-style cyber attack for 2 years ago. So in theory, this year could be the year that we see some kind of worldwide hack or worldwide shutdown. Either way, it's bad. A worldwide hack locks us out of everything for a long time. A worldwide shutdown locks us out of stuff for up to 24, 48 hours, and then everything comes back on, provided they can defeat or beat that attack. So either way, it's bad. Now, for a shutdown, worldwide shutdown, For every day that happens, it costs the financial world $50 billion a day for all of this being shut down. So obviously they can't afford it to be shut down that long, but even if they shut it down for half the day, it's still within the $1 billion range. If I'm not mistaken, they said 50 billion, but I'm thinking more in the $1 trillion era. But again, I'm not a financial guy. Still, this is bad. So I mention this because if Davos is talking about it for the last 2 years, saying that this is going to happen within the next 2 years, and they started warning us in 2023, we are in 2025, we could possibly see something this year. Nonetheless, this is where you start, again, stepping up your preps, going through your preps, making sure everything's up to date, making sure everything you own, including medications, vitamins, pills, food, things are up to date and ready to rock and roll. Make sure you have all of your power sources that you're going to use charged up and ready to rock and roll. Make sure you have fresh gasoline if you're using a generator. Solar generators are going to be ever so more important because you're going to be using a renewable source, the sun, right? Oh, you don't need a renewable source, excuse me. Reverse that. Your renewable source will be the sun. This is something that's going to rise every day and it's going to charge your devices versus using something with gasoline, wood, coal, where you can absolutely run out of that stuff, right? No one has an endless supply of wood. I mean, even if you live in the woods, at some point in time, you're going to run out. You're not going to have an endless supply of coal because you got to get that delivered to you. And if the power shut down, you're going to be without for a little while. So solar generators or solar power banks are going to be the way to go. And you got to stay on top of this. Now, this is something you should track. And also, keep this in mind. The power going out is going to catch everybody off guard. I don't care how prepared you are. I don't care how much shit you have. The power's going to go out. Everybody's going to be like, what the fuck just happened? Everybody reacts the same way when the power goes out. No one power goes out and they go, okay, I'm ready. No, you don't do that. You want to know what happened. You want to know the extent of the damage. You want to know the extent of this event, because is it going to last us fucking 2-3 days, or is it going to last us 2-3 years or more? So that's why it's going to catch everyone off guard. So obviously, guys, you're going to have your battery operated radios. You're going to go right to that. Don't hem and haw and try to figure out what's going on. Go right to your battery operated radios. Go right to your ham radios and start figuring out what's going on. Other than that, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.